Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Shirk, and welcome to Digital Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. And joining me today is my esteemed co-host, Jared Brick from Santa Cruz, California. Hi, Jared. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Nice to be here again today.
Oh, good to see you. And also from out on the West Coast is Karl Pontau with Squash and Stretch Productions. Karl, thanks so much for joining us as well.
Thanks for having me.
So I got it, Squash and Stretch Productions. Tell us what you do there, and you got to tell the backstory of that name.
Sure. So I empower entrepreneurs and small business owners and startup founders to basically build stronger connections with their best clients using storytelling and animation. And it really comes down to helping them reframe the marketing messaging they're using and build stronger brands. And the history behind the name is actually an homage to Disney. Because back when he was starting the company that's now Walt Disney Studios, it wasn't really a best practices for animation. So he sat down with his team and came up with 12 animation principles. And the first on that list is squash and stretch. So if you take any animation 101 class today, you still learn these same 12 principles. So it's a little tip of the hat to the giants whose shoulders we all stand on in the animation industry.
I love it.
Karl, so tell me a little bit about the pain points that the clients that you serve are dealing with today in the digital world.
Sure. Yeah. So there's so much more noise these days in marketing and when you're trying to attract clients or investors or employees, people have so many more options, and it's so hard for smaller businesses and startups to differentiate themselves and stand out. And there's just a kind of a misunderstanding of how people make decisions and what really influences behavior and decision making. And so I work with my clients either through coaching or creating animation content to help them reframe their marketing messaging, reframe the stories they tell so that it is engaging people on an emotional level, which speaks to the part of the brain that makes decisions. And so it turns their like kind of white noise, samey sounding marketing messaging into ones that actually connect on a deeper, more personal level with the people they're trying to work with and helps them grow their businesses.
And how do you learn about the demographic that those customers are serving? How do you understand how to connect to them emotionally?
Well, it starts by listening, asking a lot of questions and listening to what people are telling you, because people are out there asking tons of questions online, or that you can basically go out and actually talk to them in person or on the phone. And so listening and empathizing with what your audience cares about and how they're feeling, what they're struggling with, and not assuming you know what's best, or you assume that they'll care about the same things you care about, but really thinking about your business and what you're offering from their perspective. A great metaphor I've heard is, imagine your clients are at a bus stop. You want them to go with you somewhere. You have to meet them at the bus stop they're on, so you get on the same bus and go forward. If you try and go off in another direction that they're not on, you're going to miss out on with them. So helping people really build empathy and understand with what their clients are feeling and experiencing, and then helping them craft those sort of messages that from basically, here's what the results I want, here's what people are feeling, and here's the message, here's the story I need to tell that's going to resonate with the right people and get me the results I want. But it starts with that understanding of your clients on a more personal level than what a lot of companies are doing.
And Karl, would you say that there are a couple key elements that you need to have when you're in storytelling to be effective storytelling? And if so, what would those be?
It's a great question. It's something that often people overlook, because storytelling is not just a marketing tool or a business tool. It really reaches the core of what makes us human. And so it's more about realizing that there's this emotional element to the messaging that is really powerful, and that it's not as much about what you're doing, but it's more about the why and the how and the experience people have in working with you. And so sharing stories about that aspect of what you do or the experience people have is one big thing that a lot of people overlook or don't realize. And the second one is that people want to have authentic, genuine human connections with real people. And so that for a long time, especially on social media like Instagram and Facebook, people have been projecting these, like, everything's perfect, my life is so great, and we're like this amazing, perfect business made of people that never make mistakes. And it comes across as so unauthentic. So I often work with people to go from trying to present that persona to being what I call flawsome, where you're still great at what you do, you're still amazing at your area of expertise, but you also have like make mistakes and have flaws and are a human being. And when you talk about those parts of who you are and the more personal side of things that often people aren't opening up about as easily as they could, those are the sorts of stories that really build the sort of connections you want with people, because you're not just presenting this kind of facade. It's really the authentic, genuine person showing up. And especially for small businesses where you're often working one-on-one or directly with the clients, that is a huge differentiator.
I love that term,
Carl,
flawsome.
I got a
love
question
that.
for you.
Yep.
So when you're thinking in the production world, are you thinking vertical now? Are you thinking a specific platform? What are some channels and platforms that are really on your mind right now?
So I'm doing a lot on LinkedIn. I think it's still the number one platform if you're a professional and you're basically trying to network and connect with people and build relationships. Then LinkedIn is amazingly powerful and often underused resource. People, it started off as like an online resume, and a lot of people still think of it that way, but it's really turned into this powerful tool for building connections with people, with location not being an issue anymore because it's all online, but posting more, again, about the personal struggles, being vulnerable, and not trying to sell as much, but really connect with people. So it's not necessarily as much about what you're posting yourself, but what you're commenting on, and the events you go to, and the relationships you can build on LinkedIn are so powerful. And so when it comes to a channel or vertical that more small businesses or kind of startups could really use more effectively, I think LinkedIn is a ton of untapped potential for a lot of people out there.
Karl, listening to you is like taking a master class in storytelling and production. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and share all of your insight on Digital Champions.
Thank you.
And Jared, thank you so much. Great questions today.
Thank you, guys, and great to meet you, Karl. And you're in my neighborhood. We'll have to meet up.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, sounds good, guys. If you'd like to learn more about what they're doing over there at Squash and Stretch Productions, they certainly sound like they know what they're talking about. You can start by checking them out on dailyadbrief.com. I'm your host, Charlene Shirk. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to learning something new with you next time.
Simplify presents Addressable CTV, combining the power of TV with the targeting and attribution of digital. Simplify's Addressable CTV delivers massive reach with the ability to scale without sacrificing precision. TV buyers can generate incremental reach with household-level targeting, frequency controls, reporting, and insights. To learn more about Simplify's Addressable CTV and what it can do for your clients, visit simply.fi.